First of all, they're winning and we're not. And the Iraqis are not winning, the Peshmerga, the Kurds are not winning. And there's a lot of aspects of this, but there has to be a fundamental reevaluation of what we're doing, because we're not degrading and ultimately destroying ISIS. This present pinprick bombing is not working. Second of all, you need some more boots on the ground in the form of forward air controllers, special forces, and other people like that.
That, of course, Senator John McCain. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. I'm Rick Unger filling in for Steve today. He will be back tomorrow in the chair. Joined now by former Navy SEAL and FBI agent, President of U.S. Continued Service, our friend Jonathan Gilliam. Jonathan, welcome.
Always good to be here.
Good to see you, man.
Mr. Unger.
So listen, I want to start out. We talked in our last hour about this horrible situation of Christians now being singled out and killed by these horrible terrorists, taken down to the water where the water literally runs red. I mean, you talk about an image. Christians being pushed off a boat because they're Christian. How much longer can the world, and obviously by the world I also include the United States, how much longer can we allow this to go on without taking some real immediate action?
That's a good question, Rick. I mean, look at the Boko Haram girls. You know, that was a big deal. Everybody's holding up, including the First Lady, holding up hashtag things about not forgetting them, and all of a sudden they're forgotten. I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age where we're at right now, as fast as information spreads, information is forgotten because other information comes out. But overall, what I see the reason that all these things happen, the Boko Haram, the continuous Christians that are being killed, which we have historical data on how this movement is going to go, because 100 years ago in 1915, it occurred with Christian Armenians where they killed 1.5 million. They eliminated half of all Armenians from this earth at that point. So it's no different now. Historically, they show what their tactics are. It's just that they have the ability to inspire others around the world by videotaping it and having all these, high-produced
But don't we,
videos.
there are those who will argue that President Obama just hasn't stood up and expressed the concern for this that he should. That's an argument we can have. I understand people's point when they say that. But at a point, even people like myself who are not typically identified as hawks or conservatives, I'm getting very fed up with seeing these videos of people being gunned down, of students in a school having someone knock on their door, and simply because they're a Christian being killed. I've seen this before in my own ethnic.
Right.
I think the time maybe has come that the world has to come together to say no more of this and to do something. What does it take to make that happen?
Forward movement. I mean, forward movement and an organized war plan. And we've talked about this before. There is no organized war plan. I don't know where they started using pinprick bombing, where that term came from. Pinpoint bombing or tactical bombing in order to gain a strategic advantage.
Right.
You have to have a strategic plan in order for that to work.
And you don't feel that this exists
It's
right now?
obvious that we don't. I mean, we haven't looked at Yemen correctly, and we let Yemen fall. Yemen is huge because if the Iranians get a bigger footprint there, they surround Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia fell to Yemen, it would cause the whole region to fall.
Let's go to that subject, because that's becoming a very important story these days. We see that the U.S. Navy is heading into that region to try and intercept Iranian ships that they think are coming with weapons. You've got Saudi Arabia, who was bombing and just announced that they're finished. Where's this all leading in Yemen? Because this is starting to scare some people.
Well, I think one thing it shows is that this whole negotiation for the nuclear, and to bring this in as well, the nuclear negotiations that we have with Iran, it's really completely, there's nothing there, because Iran doesn't work on the timetable that we work on. And it's the same thing, now they're speeding up what they're doing in Yemen because we pulled out. So Iran can fluctuate how they speed up or how the time that they take.
What do we do if Iran decides to engage?
Well, we should already have pre-thought that out, and we need to engage them. I mean, we don't need to put ships, troops, planes anywhere where we don't have the ability to back it up. A show of force, which the Obama administration loves to do, is nothing if there's no force to back up the show.
Yeah, in other words, they're going to know a show of force is nothing but a bluff until somebody fires a shot.
I just think it's time to stop with the show of forces. And I know people
take
say,
action.
well, you know, I've had this argument with people, we're tired of war, but the fact is we've never gone to war. We just go to battles. We need to really go to war and
Interesting
actually.
perspective. Of course, it's Jonathan Gilliam, our favorite Navy SEAL, always going to be with us to talk about these things.
Right.
Jonathan, thanks as
got
always.
it. Always good.
So listen, when we come back, we've got Julian K. Melcher joining us. She is a writer for the National Review. She has a lot to say and has done a lot of research into what may be a special relationship between New York and Al the Reverend. Stay with us. We're coming right back.